Now, emergency workers have rescued 11 people from rising floodwaters in parts of eastern New South Wales, where heavy rain has caused flash flooding. For an update on the situation, our reporter Jason Olm joins us now from Sydney. Jason, good morning. Emergency crews very busy overnight.
Well, it's been a very wet week for Sydney. There's been a lot of heavy rain, particularly out here in the west at Parramatta, and all that water that's been building up this week is now coming down the Parramatta River here. It's been a very busy week for the SES. They've carried out 15 flood rescues since the beginning of this week. Overnight, there were 4 rescues in Sydney, and that was because people had been trapped in their cars in the floodwaters. And it seems that people are ignoring those warnings from the SES to not drive into floodwaters. And in one case, one person was trapped on the roof of their car and had to be plucked to safety. Overall, across Sydney, there have been more than 1,000 calls for help this week. In Sydney overnight, there were 150 calls for help. And today, about 500 volunteers from the SES will be out and about helping Sydneysiders clean up the mess after this heavy rain. The good news is that it is clearing up. The rain system is moving away from Sydney. It's moving south, and in the next 6 hours it's expected to move towards the Illawarra and the south coast. So for those residents down there, might cause some trouble. The Georges River, people were expecting that to peak overnight, but the rain hasn't been as bad as expected, and the Georges River is falling. There is, however, a flood watch still over the Georges River Valley and the Nepean Hawkesbury River Valley, and that means that people should just be aware of the warnings and be ready to be aware of those.
We've been showing some pictures, Jason, as we're speaking to you, of the damage caused by those heavy rains. That the clean-up effort, looking at some of those waterlogged houses and cars, is going to take some time.
Well, indeed, and those rescues that have been carried out, it's mostly cars, but it's also people in houses. At Fairfield, some people were trapped in their houses as the floodwaters were rising. So it will be a very busy day for the SES today, but they will be out and about helping Sydneysiders clean up.
OK, Jason Olm in Sydney, thank you very much for the update. And we'll be speaking to the SES in New South Wales in the next hour for an update on that situation.